Hey, bitch, hey. Do you miss me? Anyways, I know it's been a while. I kind of took a hot minute, kind of recoup. So, this world is becoming really messed up and really scary and dangerous, especially for women. A lot of things happen and a lot of women get into a lot of messed up situations or very scary situations. But at the end of the day, they have to be able to prevail and they have to be able to pull themselves through that situation. And however that may look like is whatever. It is whatever. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta be able to survive and make it through to the next day, the next week, the next year. And my point is, women have gone to jail and they've gone to prison for doing unspeakable things. And everybody wants to shun them and everybody wants to sit there and point their fingers at them and say, you're a murderer or you're whatever the case is. A lot of situations where sometimes a woman can be unhinged and it's fun or exciting for her to people or whatever. That is definitely a chemical imbalance in the mind because there is stuff going on in that woman's mind that not a lot of people would probably understand, or would it even at the least make sense to them. So there's a lot of things and a lot of situations that a lot of people wouldn't be able to understand, grasp, or fathom. Or they don't want to believe it because they're like, you're just trying to make excuses for yourself and you're trying to justify actions, which that's not always the case. We have a lot of DV going on. A lot of DV. And the men will sit there and look pretty, put on a pretty little smile, and they usually, try to flip the script on the whole situation. And where sometimes it don't work, but sometimes it does. And especially if cops or judicials are biased towards the man, which they usually are. They usually are. And then you get arrested for the offense because the man is sticking up for the man. The cop is, helping justify the man, and you're the one that gets put away. You're the one that gets locked up. You're the one that gets unbelieved. And nobody believes anything that's coming out of your mouth because you have a cooch, not a deek. So, and I do think it's messed up. I think this world is very biased and very unfair. There's a lot of women out there who can, you know, keep up with men, strength wise and, mental capacity wise, and just they can really keep up, But why do us women have to sit there and become bodybuilders and get these muscles that should not have no business being on a woman? To sit there and protect and defend ourselves and to make sure that we're okay in sound money, mind, body, and soul and spirit. And a lot of these women are like, ain't nobody ever gonna put their hands on me again. Ain't nobody even gonna mess with me again. because I'm going to become a bodybuilder and they're going to leave me alone. And so what if I may look a little grotesque? Nobody will mess with me. Um, I mean that's a good mindset to have. But a lot of these women bodybuilders, they don't care about their appearance. They don't care about their looks. They're all about who they are inside. So becoming a bodybuilder and getting all these steroid looking like muscles is no big thing to them. And they love it because they feel empowered and they feel strong and strong minded. And that's all power to them. Definitely all power to them. But I don't see why us women should have to go to that point to sit there and try to defend and keep ourselves safe. We shouldn't have to go to that point, to that measure, to that degree, is my point of using the bodybuilder women. And women get put in prison and they get put in jail for doing unspeakable things because nobody wanted to believe them. Nobody wanted to be there to help them. So you gotta handle business, right? And, a lot of people are like, oh, you claim self defense too easy or, too lightly or whatever. But is it too lightly or does it just sound a little out there to you? And because it sounds out there to you, that it couldn't possibly be true, right? But men get a lot of taken advantage of and stuff like that. But that testosterone gets them through a little bit more than the estrogen does with us. They got those almighty balls, But, and all women are empowered. All women got that stride where I'll put you in your place if I have to. But when it comes to man and female, it's sad because the female does get the shitty end of the stick if you're not like a bodybuilder or you're not a jinsu or fucking taekwondo and like martial arts. Like, women should get into that stuff and start protecting themselves. But why? Because once we do it and we get shunned on and we get put away and locked up, because what may not come out of our mouth is not believed because it sounds far-fetched. Why does it sound far-fetched? Because we're women and you automatically assume that women bring the drama? That's not always the case. When women say things out of their mouth, that means if the women are talking, they're not talking just to talk. A lot of women do, but I'm talking the powerful women here. I'm talking about the mindful women here, the ones that will bust their ass and slay to get to where they want to be in life. That's the women I'm talking about. And sometimes, us being and feeling empowered, maybe it gets us in a little bit of trouble, But it is what it is, because if we don't defend ourselves and we don't stick up for ourselves, then who will?